Oh, I see Rebecca's here and teacher Kim. Thanks for joining the chat, guys. So
Nice.
welcome, panel. How are you all doing today?
Doing good.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, right. It is definitely a Monday. How did your classes go this morning?
I missed my first one. Got a teacher no show.
Oh no!
no!
That's the worst.
6:53 for a 6:30 class, and my husband was awake, and I'm like, "Why didn't you wake me?" And he's like, "Oh, well, that's your job."
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh man!
Ouch.
So sorry. You just overslept your alarm?
Yep. I didn't even remember cutting it off. I think it must have been part of my dream that I was cutting it off.
Yeah.
I don't even remember doing it.
Yeah.
I messaged the mom and apologized, so we're good.
Yeah. Well, that's good. At least you could message. Was that with VIP Kid or with iTutor?
Oh yeah, no, it was with VIP Kid.
Yeah.
If it was with iTutor, they would have taken my classes for 24 hours. So.
Wow.
That's right. I remember
Ouch.
you telling me that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Take your classes, meaning they cancel all the rest?
Yes, for 24 hours.
Wow.
Because they book you. So because they book you, they want to make sure their classes are booked. So if you miss one class, unless you let them know you're not going to miss any more, they take them all for 24 hours.
But the penalty is not as bad, right?
No, the penalty's not as bad. We have free passes. So you can use a free pass and you don't even get a penalty at all, other than you lose the money for not getting paid.
Right.
So
hey, why don't we do quick introductions and we'll get started. Amanda, you want to go first?
I can go first. Hi, I'm Amanda Panda teacher. I am a almost 3-year online teacher. I craft for Etsy and Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm excited to be here to share and talk about the pitfalls because I've certainly been through them. Check out resources on amandapandateacher.com. I send a free email every week with a free downloadable printable. I'm working up to free digital awards every week, so great things coming.
Super fun. All right, Cindy.
Awesome. All right, Cindy Bennett. And I do have a YouTube channel, Cindy Bennett. That's all. That's the name of it because I wasn't very creative. But I have a lot on there, and a lot of the videos that I've made are for iPad users because I run a VIP Kid iPad users group. And it's for people that just use their iPad either for teaching or as a backup. And I've learned to use it in a lot of different ways as well. Yeah. So that's my group. We have like over 3,000 people in it. So it's pretty awesome. And so I always recommend if you want to use your iPad for teaching as a backup, please go through that group and know how to use it. We just had somebody recently in an emergency didn't know how to use it. And you know, you can get a no-show for no reason. Like what happened to me last week was my internet it blinked, my electricity blinked. So everything went off and my router reset and everything. And but I had my iPad, so I was able to connect to my iPad within one class. I connected my iPad, did a little bit of class, went back to my computer, and I didn't lose the class. But if it had just been on my computer, I would have lost the class because it would have been more than 3 minutes. So yeah. So anyway, thank you for having me, Kasie, and I'm looking forward to this discussion too.
Good. Okay, Kim.
Sorry, I was responding to somebody in the chat box. So yeah, I am Kim Turner, ESL teacher Kim on YouTube, and I work with VIP Kid, iTutor Group. I just started opening GoGo Kid back up, OutSchool, and then of course I have Cambly if I want to throw it in there occasionally. And so on my YouTube channel, I mostly have iTutor Group, some VIP Kids, some ESL classes, a little bit about OutSchool. Just starting to put some of that out there, but mostly
encouragement,
devotionals. Try to do a little mix of everything. Mostly I started because of iTutor Group because I had so many of the same questions, but I think that happens a lot, right? Otherwise, yeah, that's about it. I mean, I just work and that's it.
You want to answer what you were talking about in the?
Yeah, I was responding to her, but I'll just say I was just Karen. I got a teacher no-show this morning with VIP Kid, and I was just sharing the difference between getting a teacher no show a VIP kid and having the same thing happen at iTutor group, because there's different penalties and different consequences and different things. So that's all I was just sharing.
And I'm Kasie Oswald. Thanks for coming. And I have a website. Well, my husband does it all. teachingwithkasie.com if you want to check it out and see what he's been posting. I know he updated it yesterday, but I haven't even gone on there very much. He posts.
You should just call him your assistant.
I know,
Call him
right?
your assistant.
I know. Luckily, he's so good with this kind of stuff, because the other day we had no internet and he went and found what happened. He's like, oh, there's none of this coming from this and this. And then he ran something from our garage all the way to in here to me, and my internet worked for classes. I was like, whew. So yeah, luckily he's good with all of that. But so what we do on here, a lot of the collaborations he posts on there. I know he's got a section underneath with a bunch of my friends, links to their YouTube channels and whatever they wanted on there. I'll have to see who's on there. It's been a while since I've been on there, but we'll take a look and update that as well. So, oh, great, Amanda, you've got your stuff in there. So let's get started. Today is about pitfalls for online teaching, for VIP Kid, for online teaching. I think these pitfalls can be for many different platforms. So I will let you guys go first, because I wrote down all of what you guys had mentioned. So I don't want to take everybody's thing, but anybody want to go first with some of the pitfalls, or
Do you want to just name one and just like
we can discuss it a little bit?
I think the first one that people fall into being a new teacher is on the groups falling into like negative thinking, because you know, sometimes when you're new, it can take a little while for you to get bookings. Some people get bookings right away, but other people, like I was the classic little by little and built it. But now there was people saying how many August 2018, 2019, 2020, and that can get discouraging. So my advice for that would be find a positive group to be a part of and to try and stay positive, and don't give yourself that negative energy, and just try to do the things that you can do, and work with what's working for you, and try not to assume that your situation is going to be a bad one, but to try and work and see what's going to work for you personally.
And as you're waiting, I think instead of getting into the negative Facebook issues, like you were saying, you could take workshops and research, play around on the teacher portal, get to know the portal. I recently heard that some of the newbies didn't know the certification center and how to find if they had trial lessons or anything. So if you're not booked yet, go in there, play around, take some workshops. There are other things you can do, but I think using your time wisely instead of in those negative groups, I think that's a great one, Cindy. Somebody else?
Yeah, to add to that, also, someone's fully booked is not you're fully booked. If someone opens 5 classes for a week and they get all 5 booked, and they can say, oh, I'm fully booked, and they post that, and you're opening 30 classes and none of them are booking, I mean, that's not the same thing. So you don't assume that just because someone's, be happy for the people who are getting booked, but don't be jealous. It's not a competition in that sense. I mean, yes, we're all competing to have good bookings, but we're not competing against each other. We're just doing our best each class. So don't assume that because someone's saying what they are, that it's the same situation you're in.
Yeah, that's good. You just made me think of something. Sometimes when you get like 11 cancellations on a frenzy, look at what you had that night also, because they might be canceling to rebook you for a supplemental class. And that's a whole nother, Monday collaboration, I think. But yeah, don't necessarily think all those cancellations are totally against you. Because I think I had 11 and 11 today, and I looked, and they weren't all the same ones, but some of them matched up as they were taking supplementary classes instead.
Oh, I had that one week.
Yeah, I will say my supplementary classes are down and my major courses are back up again. So I think they're starting with their school schedules and things. So
yeah, I had 5 cancellations and 5 bookings. It was literally the same student, just altering over like in the middle of the week one week where she was just switching over to supplemental. So yeah, definitely, check everything. Don't assume that it's bad. And it's not always about you. Cancellations aren't always about you.
Right.
Schedules change, things change. As well as I do as parents, all of us are parents, I believe, and things change. So
yeah.
Don't assume it's about you.
Good. Amanda,
we're in a limbo kind of period right now because students in China are going back to school. So they all go back at different times. I've heard August 30th. I heard September 2nd. Like I heard many different answers. Some are already in school. So because it's that funny transition time, they're coming off of their holidays. They're going back to school. That's why classes are moving. And remember, we used to not be able to see all the cancellations. So remember, cancellation could be just bumping and moving to a different time slot. They could literally be bumping back to their teacher that they had taught masterclass before for the morning schedule. There's a lot of changes that kind of occur. I think one of the sad things is to watch your schedule so closely, teach a class and think you did a good job, and then all of the future classes are booked and you think it's you and something that you did. Truthfully, schedules change so much. One of the reasons why our parents are in VIP Kid, if they're VIP Kid parents, is the flexibility. They're not stuck in with a certain teacher at a certain time, so they can swap to any old person that they see available. And so it's kind of a game. It's a game that our parents play. It's a game that we play. And so when the game doesn't go your way, if you're upset every time a class or a series of classes are canceled, just play it up to like, it's okay, they'll come back again. Even holidays and vacations. So like if you go on a trip or take a weekend off, or you can't take all those 4 bookings like in a block because you can't teach one, remember the kids will find other teachers. They will come back to you. If they really are your regular, they like your teaching, they won't forget you. They will come back to you. Even over the summer, I have not taught many students over the whole course of the school year, and I taught a bunch of summer kids that I had seen last summer. So again, it always just comes back. They will follow your schedule, they will come back to you, and they will cancel and go all different places. So it's a pitfall to think that your teaching affects everything the parents do. That's not actually true. Variety affects what the parents do. Choice affects what the parents do. Schedules and kids' stress, like all of that affects what the parents do.
Talking to me.
Yeah,
that
girl,
just happened to me the other day. They canceled all the classes, and for 2 days I was like, oh man. And then so they skipped 2 weeks and then booked me the 4 in a row. Like, and a few weeks later, my husband's like, see, scheduling. Like, okay.
Kids, I just saw pictures on WeChat. One of my lovely regulars, she went away for her very first sleepaway camp. It was a nature camp up in the mountains somewhere in China that was beautiful.
Oh, nice.
She painted with her feet. She was away from home in a dorm, sleeping with other kids. Like her mom wrote a whole detailed WeChat message about and showing pictures. But again, she's not taking VIP Kid classes with me because she's enjoying nature in China, like on camp out. So again, there's going to be lots of chances when kids are going to do different things. Maybe they'll go on holidays with family over the Chinese New Year. It's all variable, and it's not always you. It's not always you. It's mostly the parent schedule and their choice and flexibility.
Yeah, great. Hey, I want to say hello to the chat really quick. Wow, we have 10 people. Thanks for coming. Rebecca, Kim, Karen, Amanda Panda. Hey, Danny, thanks for coming. Cindy. Oh, you guys all rock. Danny said she just started back at VIP Kid this week and she enjoyed it. Cool. Let's see. Karen said, I had a student say farewell because their classes were starting. Danny said, also limbo time here. My kids start distance learning this week. It makes VIP Kid easier for me because I get it out of the way in the morning. Danny said, game? Oh, yes. I look at online teaching as a game. Roll the dice to see what happens.
Exactly.
Good. Let's see. What about sleep? So many of you messaged me about sleep. Does anyone want to talk about what is the
sleep
pitfall
is hard
of sleep?
these days. Oh,
what's that?
Word. Sleep is hard these days. There's so many reasons why I can't sleep.
Oh, but I think for me, it's, well, maybe I'll just open one more. Maybe I'll just open one more. And then I do it to myself, not allowing myself to get sleep because I just keep opening, or priority bookings come in and I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
what about you guys? Especially as
I
new
mean,
teachers, I think.
I'm the last one to really give advice on sleep because I don't sleep much. If I get 3 or 4 hours in a row, I'm lucky. But and that's consistent. Because I do between companies teach nights and mornings, so I get a nap in between basically and a nap in the afternoon if I can. So trust your body though. I mean, that's kind of what happened to me this morning, the teacher no show. I got into a deeper sleep, which I don't normally do. And if I do that, then I tend to miss alarms. So this is not my first teacher no show. Probably won't be my last, unfortunately, because I don't keep a regular schedule. And that's something we had talked about in the chat before this was keep a regular schedule, get up at the same time every day. If you can, go to bed at the same time. Even if you're like me and not getting a lot of sleep at once, my problem is my inconsistency in the mornings. Some mornings I have to teach at 6:30. Some mornings it's not till 7:30. Some mornings it's not till 8:00. That really messes up your sleep if you're not consistent. So the best thing about sleep, in my opinion, is be consistent with the time you wake up. Even if you can't go to sleep exactly the same time every night, if you're consistent with the time you wake up, you're more likely to continue to get up every day. When I used to do that and had a regular every single morning at 5 a.m., I was up every single morning at 5 a.m. I never missed a class. The varying is very hard on your body.
Yeah. I think you mentioned dangers of what was it? Where is it, Kim? Danger of I'll just close my eyes for a second.
Yes.
That was your quote in the chat.
Wow.
That is a danger. I've done that before. Actually, I did that between classes. I had a class at like 6:30 and a class at 7:30. And I laid down on the couch to close my eyes for just a minute. And I missed the second class. This was a while back. So yeah, I'll just close my eyes for a minute because I have, 10 minutes before I need to be in class. Then 15 minutes later, you wake up and you're a teacher no show or you're late and
all disoriented.
Exactly.
I would say that I'm on over 2 years. And I've been pretty consistent with my classes. But when I first started, I could not sleep at all because I was so worried that I wouldn't wake up.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this and you're brand new and that's the way you feel, I have seen that happens to a lot of people. Just because like you might say, I wake up at 5 to go to work or something, but you might not be quite as stressed out as waking up for a class or something. And I have also at the beginning, I was so tired from this whole thing, like the excitement wears you out, like thinking about it, checking your phone all the time and being excited. I think that really adds to your just drains on you. But once you get established, you can sleep. But I have been known, like if I had a break, say I had a class and then I had a break in another class and it's like 5 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning and I'm exhausted, before I close my eyes, I will set my alarm. So, and that's one alarm that I don't turn off on VIP Kid. They have a lot of different notification things and I turn most of them off except for the 15 minutes before your first class, because it's really annoying if I'm already ready and then it goes off, but it's handy just in case that you're not getting ready. So.
But I would say one of the pitfalls to that alarm is it's not always consistent. So don't just count on that VIP Kid alarm. I know Cindy already knows.
I always use my phone, and I just wanted to say that like at the beginning, you might feel like sleep is never going to come. But once you get into a routine and also I have like sort of cut back, like I'm not trying to do every class possible. I know my limitations and what I can handle with everything else that's going on. And so I limit myself instead of trying to do, at the beginning, I tried to do as much as I could to kind of get established. And at this point, I'm just doing what works for me, which is about 30 to 35 classes per week.
Great. Yeah.
So
I think none of you people can talk about sleep being a problem if you don't
I
teach
know.
from PST time.
That's true.
So
I'm
let
on
me
the
just
East
tell
Coast.
you, yeah.
Mountain,
So
it's close.
girls, like, no way. Like, PST
Sorry.
time is no joke.
Mhm.
So I have to say, like, I limit my classes. I do not work 7 days a week. I do not try. I try to take naps in the day. I really have to be careful of my sleep. I have kids. I have a husband. We're doing distance learning. I run an Etsy shop and business. I cannot be super sleepy mommy. But my first couple months of teaching, I opened crazy hours of classes. I was up at 1:45,
Mhm.
2 in the morning, and I would not take a nap. And that was a big mistake.
Yeah.
I have
couldn't
to
do
say,
it,
do what's
Amanda.
good for
I
your
wouldn't
health.
do
Yeah,
it.
it's awful. So right now
I wouldn't be here.
I am 4 to 6 a.m. right now. So that's 4 classes. I will be doing this, unfortunately, every day, Monday through Sunday, for the next couple weeks, because I'm working hard to get my very last base pace adjustment, and I need PPT times. But this past winter, I actually cut my schedule and smushed all my classes. My parents were not happy. I only taught 2 mornings a week, Tuesday morning and Thursday morning, and I basically stayed up all through the night and started teaching like at 10 p.m. and taught till 6 in the morning, only 2 days a week. And I taught a big bulk group of classes. I didn't get a lot of PPT time classes in. That's why I'm behind. So I'm catching up now. But in the future, like, because after this new raise and financial changes with VIP Kid, there won't be any more base pay adjustments. I won't need to count how many PPTs. So I am going to make my schedule whatever the heck works for me. And I am not waking up at 4 in the morning. I am not doing 2 in the morning. I'm not doing 3. I just cannot. 3 years. So I told my husband, like, I needed to find some other income. So my Etsy shop is branching out into other sales regions, not just to online teachers, because I can do it during the day.
Good job.
So you have to do what works for you. You cannot every day work 7 days a week. If you're PST people, listen to me. Don't wake up at 2 in the morning every single day, 7 days a week, and expect to have a life that you can live. But if you can all day, go for it. So, like, again, it's all
but
about
if you
your
don't have
schedule.
kids, if you don't have kids, you might be able to.
If you have no kids and you can sleep all day, like, switch to working as a night worker. That's totally
shift,
okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and stuff
But
like
for
that.
me, you have to do what's best for you. And so always consider your health. It is not good to not sleep, and enough hours is not healthy for you. And so I'm done being unhealthy. I'm losing weight and into fitness and exercising.
Good job.
Let me
you
count
can
how many
totally
pounds.
see it.
Let's see, 3, 8, 20 pounds, 18 pounds.
Wow. Congratulations.
High five.
6 weeks, 6 weeks, 18 pounds. Yeah, woohoo.
Great.
So again, like, I'm making
here.
priorities to sleep. Like, I'm making plans to do what I got to do for my base rate adjustment, and then I'm going to be healthy. My parents are going to miss me, and I'm sorry. But I have to do what's good for me. And so I live in this particular house in this time zone. Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So
Good.
There's so many things popping
doesn't
up.
get a lot of sleep. She's got babies.
Oh yeah.
There's so many new ways to make money though popping up.
So Rebecca, you want to say hello really quick?
Yes, hi. Sorry, I was late.
Hi,
I
Rebecca.
came back from a walk, and then I had to put my baby to bed. So I had enough, I nursed her and then put her to bed. So now I'm here.
Aw, I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, so I'm Mountain Time Zone. So I'm just a little bit better than Pacific, but not a whole lot. So yeah, my normal schedule is, when I first started 4 years ago, it was 6 to 8. And I said, I will never teach before 6. That's just ridiculously early. Well, then I wanted to get more classes. We can 5:30 to 8, then 5 to 8. And then eventually became 4 to 8. And then the time changes. And then I can't end at 8 anymore. I have to end at 7.
Right.
I'm so okay, 3:30 to 7. Well, then last fall they cut out that last hour, and so now
in
the wintertime I have to finish at 6 a.m. and the summertime I can finish at 7. So I was doing like after my baby was born in September, I gave a few weeks off, came back, and I was doing like 3 to 6 every day, and then 3 to 7, and it really wore on me really bad. And like I was trying to catch up from that lost hour and working earlier, and then she'd have like a late night feeding, and then she'd wake up middle of the night, and I was just, it was a mess. It was not good. I was trying to work 7 days a week. Don't do that. Say, okay, I'm going to take the hit of like $40, $60 a week, and I'm going to get some sleep. I'm going to catch up take 1 day a week and just make that your day to say, I'm not doing any teaching. And I have 1 day off. I'm not doing any out school, not doing VIP kid, not doing iTutor group. I'm just taking 1 day off.
Oh,
that's family time. And that's been really nice to
good.
do that.
And during her kids' naps, like she's here for us, and sometimes she fits her out school classes in during their nap. So
yeah, I've got a 4-year-old and an almost 1-year-old.
Wow, very good. So friends in the chat, what do you think are some pitfalls about working as an online teacher? We've got a bunch for you, but if you have any, we'd love to hear it too. And Danny, I saw she was leaving. Bye, Danny. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so Rebecca, you had mentioned desire to open all of the slots.
It's so easy to be greedy, especially when you start getting those bookings and they finally coming in. You're like, yes, people like me. I'm going to open up more bookings. Oh, yeah, why not do an extra half hour every morning? Sure, open them all up. Oh, evening classes, let's open them too. And then you start burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
It's like you lose out on family time. You experience burnout. You get cranky with your kids because of lack of sleep. So sometimes you just have to go, this is my schedule. That's it.
But then you get the money.
I know. You get the short notice bookings. You get the extra $2.
The
You're like,
money is like, okay, I feel better now.
It's so easy to be greedy. So you have to balance going, okay, I'll be greedy this weekend, but then tonight I'm taking the night off. And so you have to balance. You have to say no.
Hence why we call it a pitfall.
Yes.
For me right now, I've never made like money because I've been a stay-at-home mom. My thing has always been, don't spend money, because my husband he's not an executive or anything. So we live on a low budget. So now I have money and I get this money in my account and I'm like, woohoo, like this is going to be my extra bonus week. Mm-hmm. But I need to talk to myself about how hard I worked for that money and not spend it. Like today I had to pay $84 just to throw away 2 mattresses. That's kind of a necessity, but other times, just be careful about, remember how hard it was for you to make that money.
You start thinking of things in terms of classes. Well, $84, that's like 8 classes.
I know.
Like, now I have to work 8 more classes to equal what I just spent.
Yeah, so then I got to open the slots that I didn't want to open.
But don't do the opposite, going, well, I worked 8 classes today, so I get to deserve to buy this thing. Don't do that either.
Well, I want to get a new computer, and I keep thinking, do I want to work thinking of it, that's how many hours that I would be putting in to get that. And then I'm like, but I'm on the computer every day. This is where I live. So it would be nice to have a really good one. So that's kind of a, thinking about what to do with the money. Of course, some people just say, hey, it goes to bills and keeps me alive. So fortunately, I'm kind of squirreling my money and trying to scrimp in other ways so that it is available for extra things. So
Candy had a good one. I don't think I saw this on our list in our group. She said the pitfall of buying the wrong props. She has puppets that
that's a good one.
Especially as beginner teachers, you buy everything and then you get the groove.
That's really good.
You change your groove and So, but these are good. Kasie has a good YouTube video on the props.
Oh, I think that's all of us.
Yeah, it's all of us.
And I think everybody's different in what they enjoy using and what they like. Some people can handle. I've always said I can't handle tons of stuff because I just get confused. But other people love tons of props. So I've seen people that say, hey, I'm a minimalist. I don't use any props. And then some people say, I love props and I use all of them. So you can find your balance too. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
I think I have a lot of stuff. But
when I'm out, I always want stuff. Like I look at stores. I went on a trip and I found this turtle, and I thought, why do I want that turtle? Like, it's just kind of a weird thing. It was perfect. It's plastic, and it works for the long neck for the Starlight Trial. I could pull it
long,
and I didn't think of that when I got it.
Definitely, I didn't need to purchase.
Semi-aquatic animals. We can think of tons of things you needed it for.
There's a new trial that has turtles and whales and seals.
Okay. So speaking of turtles, I bought this. It didn't mean for it to be this big. I did not read the measurements carefully. I thought it was smaller because I was thinking it was going to be the size of all my other stuffed animals, which are really, hand size. No, he's a little bigger, but I bought him because he's so useful. And we have, our tutor group has lessons called TJ the Turtle. So this is TJ the Turtle. Like we have a whole series of TJ's lessons. So he is useful, but the kids just like him as a hat. So, find ways to use him in class.
Cute.
I have to justify my purchase, right?
Right?
That's the thing.
2 turtles in my kindergarten stuff I should get. They came with the Cole's books.
I got this one on my trip too. And my family was like, that is the weirdest thing. Why do you want that?
I like that.
And I'm like, but it's not a real snake, but it kind of
Amanda. Everyone's going to find something. I only have a 2D snake. Ooh.
But this one I need a tongue. I have to glue a tongue.
And look, I have the forked tongue for that lesson on forked tongue.
What's forked tongue? What lesson is
that?
There
you go.
Without having to do a real one.
It's one of the birds, fish, and mammals lessons.
Yeah, like one lesson.
And my snake goes like this, and kids think that's just funny.
But my family thought I was crazy with the weird things that I was picking up at the.
That's funny.
My excuse is that either I take my kids' toys or I give it to them later on and they can have my toys. But I definitely have, these are my toys. You can't touch them. That's all your stuff. You can have that. But don't touch mommy's apple and banana. I need those every day.
Right? Oh, now I can't talk. I'm laughing. Hey, Tamara, thanks for
I got
talking.
these free at my school. They have a free table, and it was this whole thing of fake fruit.
Nice.
And I went crazy. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's awesome. It's free. And they're like, yeah. Great. It looks real.
So, Tamara, we're just talking about buying props that we don't use as a pitfall.
Find the free ones.
Yeah.
But remember how much trash costs to throw it away. That's the big thing. And that was the big discussion I had with my son. I said, he's 16. I said, you're getting older. And I had a big, huge discussion about, you don't want to get a whole bunch of stuff because then you got to get rid of it someday and it's expensive.
True.
Weird. My mother never gave me that talk.
That talk is important.
Yeah. Okay, well, we do have a video. Was it last week or the week before? A couple weeks ago, maybe, that we did one on props or things that we've purchased that we don't use anymore. So let's go
Right,
ahead.
we did.
Oh, well, I like this one. I don't remember which one of you said it. We did talk about it, but getting into a rut causes not giving the class a fresh and happy time. That was Cindy. And, when you're tired or when you're falling into some of these pitfalls and you're just like, oh, and you might not even know you are, but you're just kind of not into that class. I think falling into some of these pitfalls, you're at a danger of, not having a good class, not helping the child that you're really trying to help,
Yeah. One of the things that helped me with that is something you suggested, Kasie, is you said you like to hold things that, kind of give you something to squeeze or squish or something. And this really helps to keep me kind of awake. It's weird how that works. But I just have this next to me and I'll just start playing with it. And it kind of, I don't know, it's weird how that works.
The sensory thing.
Yeah, that was a good tip from you.
Oh, good. Because I find I wonder if people think I'm weird because sometimes you can see it. I look back at some videos and you can see that I always have something in my hand. I usually out of sight.
Yeah, I thought it lit up. First.
It's even better than you knew.
I tried to get it light up and it never did.
Okay, so
sorry.
this was from Rebecca. Desire to be just like a teacher on YouTube. Rebecca, you want to talk about that?
So when I first started, there weren't that many people out there on YouTube 4 years ago, but there are some big name people out there, and they have big, vibrant, boisterous, bubbly personalities. And that is me. I am that kind of teacher, but not everybody is. And so people feel like they have to emulate that exact personality in their classes, and then they're exhausted and they fail. So no, you be yourself. You will find your tribe of students, because some students like the calm teachers. Some students like the exciting teachers. You be yourself and they'll come to you.
Yeah. Good.
Absolutely.
Anybody else want to
And
talk
the
about
parents too. You know,
Yeah.
parents are different too.
that? Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that you don't have to be just like me.
Or me.
A lot of
Or
people
me.
fail their mock classes though because they
Oh.
are trying to be. Can you hear me?
It's very quiet. Can
Very
you guys hear
quiet.
her okay, or is she pretty quiet?
Quiet.
Okay.
Sorry.
You might be closer to the mic now. I
That's
might hear
better.
you.
Yeah.
A lot of people fail their mock classes. It's okay, Kasie.
I can
A lot
hear
of
you.
people fail their mock classes because they're not themselves. And I know that
Oh.
VIP Kid and all of the companies really want you to be authentic. And in fact, I teach for another company that won't allow mock classes on YouTube because they don't want anybody to tell you exactly how you should do it. Because they really want you to do it the way you would
Yeah.
do it. Because you're not, after your mock class, you're on your own. Of course, there's workshops and different things at various companies, but you're on your own to teach the way you need to teach. So
Yeah.
you have to be yourself from the start. It's very important.
Definitely. How many of you want to meet Candy? She is so funny. I'm trying to get her on here, guys. Did you read what she said? She has a weird mind. I didn't realize that was a toy snake.
Oh gosh.
Which one? Mine or?
Cindy's toy
Cindy's?
snake, I think.
Oh. It's wooden, so it kind of moves on its own. It's kind of cool.
So funny. She said, Cindy, get a gaming laptop. Buy it during Black Friday on Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, huh? I forgot that's like a couple months away.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
now for back to school sales. So there's
I really want a MacBook Pro though,
That's
so
right.
you got to talk me out of it.
Candy said
Costco
a
just had them on
computer-
sale. I don't
Where?
think they are anymore though, but Costco had MacBook Pros on sale.
Really?
Oh,
we don't have a
wow.
Costco. Well, I was gonna say, back to the negativity, I got on a group, MacBook Pro Facebook group, because I'm like, I want them to talk to me about it, what's good about it, why is it better than the other ones and all that stuff. And you would not believe the negativity on that thing.
Ugh.
You would think that everybody would love their MacBook Pro, but then people said, the people that complain come to the group. The people that are enjoying it, they don't come to the group to say, oh, I can't wait to tell everybody how much I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So
same thing
So I
with
wasn't
VIP kid
convinced.
groups.
I was thinking the same thing, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Sometimes people join the groups just to complain or say, hey, this happened, what do I do? So you get these complaints, and as a newbie teacher, like you said earlier in the YouTube here, that people just are inundated with negativity because people aren't going out of their way to show the good stuff and be positive.
Yeah.
So you have to take everything with a grain of salt, and everybody's journey is
right.
differently. And just because you see 5 negatives and 1 positive does not mean it's a bad company. It just means
And
people are
even on
just
my
not saying
iPad
it.
group, on my iPad group,
Yeah.
people say I couldn't get on, blah blah blah. That's never happened to me. It's worked every time. So
Same.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, but
bought the iPad, downloaded it, like Cindy said, and
Say
it
not
worked perfectly for me the first time. So, I mean, I don't know.
you gotta go through the steps.
Yeah.
Well, I did, and I followed Cindy's steps on the iPad
Yeah.
group, and I had absolutely no trouble whatsoever using the iPad, and I had never used Apple products before at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Never.
right. You were hesitant to even get one.
I was,
remember
and the only reason I did
Yeah.
it was because last year when I went to the beach, I had forgotten my charger, so I ended up having to cancel classes because my computer died. So I wanted an iPad, because an iPad I could get the charger
that.
if I forgot it, I could go buy one. So
Yeah.
that was my thoughts.
Yeah. Good job.
Oh yeah, Candy, we talked about the not having a good sleep schedule at the very beginning and getting a healthy routine. Definitely working on that healthy routine here. So I know Amanda is too. Kim and I have been going back and forth with steps. Cindy, we need to talk about our steps again.
I know. I've been
still can't
dropping
wear
it.
See?
Uh,
So I can't wear
Ooh.
my Fitbit because my
Yikes.
new one is making me like.
Yeah, I've seen you on your 21 6 group talking.
Yeah.
It's been
If
a
I
long
put it in
time.
there, I
for
generally
me.
will keep up and do
I
well.
need to
if I-
kind of join another group because I'm not doing it on my own.
What's that?
Or I guess I need the crutch.
Yeah.
Admit your limitations.
Hey, we're in that group for a reason.
It's
So
true.
start posting in there.
Yeah.
And you see my sisters post every day. And if I don't post or somebody else, they will call us out.
Oh, that's great.
That's good.
Yeah. Let's look at another one.
You're my only cheerleader, Kasie. If you don't call me or talk to me, nobody cares if I do my
I feel
stuff.
guilty like every day. I'm like, oh.
Nobody cares.
They
My
care.
daughter, she's 30 something, and she's like, "Stop it! You're making me look bad," because I was doing over 10,000.
Yeah.
But I'm not lifting. I don't have 4 kids I'm running after. That's all I do. If I don't do the steps, I'm not really doing much. So
Yeah. When I taught kindergarten, I had steps for days, but now, oh, and here's a pitfall. You're going to be sitting on your butt a lot. So when we're talking about a healthy routine, you
I was just gonna
really
say
need to
that.
get into one because sitting on my
Yes,
butt,
health.
I do a split shift. So 2 to 3 hours in the morning, 2 to 4 hours in the evening. I'm just sitting, like
yeah,
4,
look out
6
for your
hours.
health.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
And it's
A
hard to
lot of
do
people
when you're
gain weight
tired.
the first year of teaching online
Mm.
because
I
they just end up
finished my
eating
first
I
and
year.
totally
eating and
did.
sitting. I did too. I'm like, why am I gaining so much weight?
Yeah.
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 You gotta
I
get up.
didn't realize
stay
how
moving.
much money
Standing
I
desk.
joined.
I'm standing.
You guys might have seen the video that I did, but I didn't start steps to lose weight. I just started it just to be healthy.
Oh yeah.
I looked at myself at the beginning of VIP Kid, and then now I couldn't believe the difference. I didn't think it was different, but it was
Yeah.
different. And I've only lost like 16 pounds, but
Right.
I didn't think I was that overweight, but then I was like, well, I guess I did.
I've
Maybe
always.
you're not getting enough
Healthy's
sleep.
the
You need to
point.
get a little exercise in order to get enough
Yeah,
sleep.
exactly. Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
And actually, when I exercise, I sleep even better. So sometimes just
Yeah.
putting in that 30 minutes,
Exactly.
That's
an
right.
hour,
Yeah.
more sleep.
Oh,
Yeah.
and to,
Especially if you teach in the evening, you're energized when you're done. It's hard
Yeah.
to like turn off. But
Yeah.
to add to sleep issues, if if it helps you to take supplements and stuff, take supplements. Like I take these before I go to bed. Well, before my last class in the evenings because I do a split shift too, and I don't get off till 2:30. So at 2:00 I take one of those, and it's got melatonin in it. And so by the time I get off work, I'm just about asleep, so I can crash on out when I go to sleep. I'm not yawning in my class. I'm not tired, but when I lay down, as soon as I lay down, just about I can go to sleep and then get back up the next morning. So,
and along with that too is vitamins. Like I kind of went away from the vitamins for a while. I keep forgetting, but that's important too. Nowadays we don't get it all from our food.
no.
So
Absolutely right. Yeah. So Rebecca sent a list. Now, were these from VIP Kid or from a group that you had found the list, Rebecca?
It was from you.
What's that?
Somebody posted it on our Google Drive documents. So I was adding to it. And so I thought it was you, but maybe it was somebody else. So I don't want to steal their thunder, but somebody else has started it and I added to it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
I thought that was you. So I just added to it.
oh, that's
Gotcha. I thought
funny.
you were saying VIP Kid.
great. Wow.
Opening every slot on your first day was one of them. We talked a little bit about that. My suggestion, so you don't fall into that pitfall, is leave yourself 30 minutes in between in a block, because you finish one class, and if you're not used to it, transitioning to the next can be a little bit difficult. And if you are new and you're already have your class down to 25 minutes, good on you, because it took me forever.
It took me too, a long time.
Sometimes.
Most
But
people
to go with that,
yeah.
I see some people on Facebook who get hired and then they're scared and they don't open anything for like a month. But you don't want to do that either, because as a new teacher, you will be featured your first 2 weeks. So if you want to get that kickstart to get in, you got to open something. So open up, one break, one. Just do like, 2 or 3 a day, but you got to open something or you will be forgotten and you won't be highlighted anymore and you'll have a harder time getting started. So there's that balance too.
Yes.
Open.
I never knew that either.
Because at the beginning you're new, right? And they put your name out as a new teacher.
Yeah.
So that's
Your little
cool.
Maybe even
profile,
discounts.
there's a banner on it. So like it says like new, and then what happens is it bumps you up in the search algorithm. So as the parents are searching for slots in classes, it bumps you to the top. So
I think that might happen without school too.
Yeah, without that
school.
bump, it's no good. So like if you waste those 2 weeks and you don't open any because you're unsure, then you basically shot yourself in the foot, because all the rest of your bookings that you're going to get will just be a luck of the draw, because you have no five apples to bump you to the top of search, and you are not new featured anymore. So yeah, when you first start, it's a tough. This job is not easy when you first start. You have to be like a pro from the start. You got to open classes and know what to do, run the portal and teach great classes and look professional with the background and good technology all in one day. Like, oh, hell, that's crazy.
And do trials to get kids into
nutsy.
it.
So there is such a learning curve. It's like from 0 to 100 in one day. So again, like you really just take it slow, open a few, don't open none. You've got to open some. Another thing I think new teachers do a pitfall is they don't use their teacher's show name, or they don't understand what their teacher's show name is. So this is not communicated clearly from VIP Kid. Your teacher's show name should be inside of your classroom and everything that you sign. So when you sign feedback, you're signing your teacher's show name. In your classroom, like screen that your parents see, whether on your background, or if you use Manicam, it should be your teacher's show name, because that's how parents come back to find you. There are a billion Amandas, and parents find me, Amanda XYJ. So in order to communicate who I am to another parent and share, I have a great VIP Kid teacher. They can't say Teacher Amanda. They have to say Amanda XYJ. Now, my parents are trained. I have regulars that book my classes. They know me. So I don't have to put Amanda XYJ everywhere. But when you're brand new, you want it everywhere, because often parents will take your little video of you and they'll share it on Chinese social media, and their friends will see you and they'll be like, oh, that's a good teacher, I want to book you. But if it says Amanda, like it says Teacher Cindy, they'll have no idea who you are. So you've got to put that show name. It's really important. A lot of people mess that up, and so that is like another way to screw up and not have everything run for you.
Right.
And the students think that's your name too.
Yeah. They think my last name.
I am not called Tamara. I'm Tamara RD.
Yeah.
And then when you're signing documents, you're gonna start signing it that way instead of Kasie Oswald. I'm like, Kasie.
The problem is when you work for other companies that don't have that show name,
or they have a different show name. Like I'm Rebecca F in one company, Rebecca AC in another company.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, because I get the random luck of the draw with the last initial. So I have to remember what company am I in? What's my show name here? But I do want to promote myself. Yes.
Yeah. The other one I work for doesn't have
I didn't even think about that. Okay,
funny.
let's see.
Can I add to the opening all the slots?
Of course.
If you're with a company like iTutor Group and you open all the slots, the pitfall there is that because the company books you and they do promote you when you first start, you will get all of them booked. So if you decide to open 12 hours straight just to see what'll happen, you're going to get 12 hours of bookings.
Wow.
And they don't split up the 25-minute classes. So you may have them 25 minutes back to back to back, or you may have 45-minute classes. You may have 6 students. There's no telling what you'll get. And I've had so many recruits message me, they booked every slot. I warned you, don't open every slot. So it goes with different companies. Where VIP Kids, you need that promotion, you need that boost. Other companies, it's the other way around. You need to limit in that case, because so find out when you're working for a new company, ask that question in the Facebook groups, ask that question of whoever recruited you. Do I need to open a lot? Do I need to open some? Do I need to split up my time? Because you're going to have the issue of either all of them filling or none of them filling, or too many close together. And so you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Well,
And VIP Kid thing, they say you're a new teacher, which you might think would turn people off, but I think they often use promotions and give discounts for new teachers and things. So that's why people want to book new teachers at times, especially if they're hunting for their regular teacher, a new regular teacher or something. They like those discounts,
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. If you don't have a regular teacher and you're going to get a discount, you might as well, right?
Yeah.
But if you accidentally booked yourself and have 26 classes in 13 and a half hours, let me know. I've got some tips.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
The other thing is that, they might book you when you're new, but they do seem to be pretty loyal. Like, I don't really have any students I teach every day, but most of my students I have like once or twice a week. And most of my students are regulars. And I wouldn't say that I know them. Like some people have said they know their families, they talk to their parents. I don't really know them like that well, but they are loyal. And like sometimes I'll see that I don't see them for a while and then they come back. Mm-hmm. So, and you just act all like warm and friendly. I had one kid I hadn't seen in like 6 months, and he lived in Hong Kong, and I was like so worried. I'm like, I hope he's okay. He seemed kind of concerned about the unrest there. And then when I saw him again, I was like, oh, it's so good to see you. How are you? And he remembered that it's been 6 months, and he said, he has another place that he lives, and he just came back to Hong Kong, and says, do you teach level 1? Because my brother is going to start. And I'm like, yeah, tell him I want to see him. So you can go a long time, and then they come back, and it's like a friendly face. And so that's really fun. And so at the beginning, it was hard when you had a regular and then they went to another teacher, but you just have to keep that in mind that can happen. But for the most part, they're going to be happy to have a familiar face, and they're going to rebook, and it's okay,
Which is why it's important to prepare for your classes, Mm-hmm. I
Right.
mean, you might have 26 classes in a row, but they only have you.
Yeah,
so
that's
you
true.
need your A game, if you want to keep these kids.
Oh man, I used to prepare. When I had that, I had 26 little, my drawers that I have over here. I had 26 ready with props. I wrote down every slide. It took me hours to prepare. I wouldn't do that now, but
that's another thing. When you are a newbie, you do need to prepare.
Yeah.
You know, people saying, I just wake up and I teach my classes. Yes, you'll get there, but don't start there. You do have to start with looking over the slides, thinking in your head, what are you going to say? What do you think they're going to say? Repeat. You have to prep yourself, and it might take a while first, but the learning curve is so much shorter than like brick and mortar teacher. I feel like I was like sinking for my first year or two teaching kindergarten, but teaching online like 3 months. Oh, I got this. And then you get the flow. So give yourself time to prep. And then you can slowly wean yourself away from all that. I mean, I've been here for 4 years. I don't prep much anymore, especially major courses. But if I get a brand new supplemental, like a theme, like, oh, my very first story time. Oh, yeah. What was story time again? Yes. I'll look at those slides. I'll refresh what I'm supposed to do there because it's new to me.
Mm-hmm. I still think it's important to know where all the slides are at, when you're prepping. I mean, like Shannon Mabry has said on this channel, like you don't want to be just a teacher or a good teacher. You always want to better yourself. And I think being prepared, if something happens, you can be more flexible. You know what's coming up. You know where that goodbye slide is and things like that, So I still look, but I don't take notes and write every slide and what I need to teach anymore.
I take notes all the time. And then the next time that lesson came around, go, oh, they changed it. Oh, they changed it a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
throw that one out, start over again. I just stopped taking notes because I had to redo it all the time because there's sometimes little tweaks. Okay, I can handle tweaks, but a total rewrite. Right now, they're totally rewriting some of their whole levels. Just
So true.
it's okay. It's okay if they become obsolete. Just
I taught my first level 1 IMC finally. Remember, like, how long ago that was? I taught it yesterday or today. Days running to each other.
I just did a trial that I had never seen before, and it was
like,
the Twilight Zone. I'm like, where is this coming from? It was so weird, and it had a lot of interactive stuff. Did you see that one, Rebecca?
I think so. It's like
I mentioned it on the group, and I was like,
new trial. Okay, wait, where do I click? What do I do here?
Yeah,
okay,
I had no idea.
It was either like the colors one, or we had one like shapes. It's like I had one with like the robot and the square and the circle. I'm like, I'll click here, and we'll click here. We'll just go with the flow, at some point. I do like trials because once you do know all the trials and they stop surprising you, you prep those 7 trials and you're good to go. You have your little routine down. You do it kind of similarly. You tweak to the students, but you know it. And so as a newbie, get certified for trials. Okay, don't let this scare you. And I know you get student no-shows, but you might need the break. But you can really, really prepare those 7 classes really well. And you go, oh, yay, trial as a newbie because you've done that. And even as a pro, I love my trials because I can go, here's my bag of trial props.
Well, this one was like, it changed for me right like in front of my eyes. So it wasn't like you could even prepare for it. Like all of a sudden you're like, oh, this looks new,
right.
And
you're
just like
fake it.
Yeah, it would be nice if they give you a little bit of a warning on that one.
Well, I hadn't taught trials for a couple of months. They just didn't book me. So when I came back and now I'm getting tons of trials, I'm like, okay, let's relearn these. But like you were saying, Cindy, is when you teach these trials to the kid, they not only like VIP kid, they like you. So they want to see you. And so sometimes when you teach a trial and they sign up for VIP kid, they also sign up for you and they see you and become your regulars. So as a new teacher, that's where I gained a lot of my regulars is by teaching these trials and the kid sees me again. And then they see me for a long time before they want to even try to venture out. So teach those trials as a new teacher. Don't be afraid of them.
Last September, I converted 19 trials and not one of them booked me again.
And that can happen too. Where either your schedule's full or they go somewhere else or whatever. That happens too.
When you were saying that, I was like, well, that's interesting.
That's funny. Congratulations, though.
That was
great.
good.
Oh,
yeah.
I had one little girl that she was so shy, and her parents are like, come over and do the lesson, and she's like, no, and she's over at the couch. And so I had to coax her over to the couch and got the lesson. Then she rebooked me for like a couple months. And she was the smartest little thing ever. And I was like, I've got this. I'm going to have this girl forever. But I haven't seen her in months. So I was kind of sad about that.
Starts.
Yeah.
So another one we talked about, teacher tags and intro video. Make sure they match. I think somebody mentioned it before about not trying to emulate other teachers that we see on YouTube, but I think it's important. If you're saying you're an energetic teacher and your intro is energetic and then you teach kind of, I don't think you're setting yourself up for success. What do you guys think?
You're right.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't know if we really need to say anything else on that. Anybody have anything?
Be yourself. Yeah. And now you can change your teacher tags. When I started, you were given the teacher tags and that's it. But now you can go to your portal, you can click on the little buttons wherever it is, and you can click your teacher tags, and you can see what like the mentor teacher thought of your mock class. You can see after you teach a couple classes what parents see about your class and what tags they put, and you can pick your 5. So pick the 5s you want to do. Hint, if you click patience, you're going to have the squirrely kids. So if you're patient, make sure you're patient with the kids.
Right.
Because they will
that
test your
patient tag is rough.
Patient does not mean subdued, calm, go with the flow. No, it means like be ready.
They can be busy and you're going to deal with it.
But the parents
don't
can
mind
also see, just like you can see what your mentor teacher said and your parents say, parents can also see who's leaving those tags.
Yeah.
So they can see, if you change all 5 of your tags, they'll see that all the tags are from you. And I mean, maybe it's fine, but.
I see.
I see what you're saying.
An
So,
effect as well.
Little plug, I do have a video on how to change or how to find your tags. I haven't checked mine since I made that video. I don't remember what I have on there.
I chose my tags the first week they came out and go, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, like I had 3 on there and go, oh, these teachers said, and these kids said about these. I'll add these 2 on there that the thank you from parents, and I got my 5, and we're good to go.
Right. And I remember for the longest time, people had to write tickets and would find out they only had 1 tag, which really could hurt you. You want more tags. So you want to go in and put the
search by times. Like, I want this kind of teacher.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
I had 2. I had 2 for a long time till they opened it up that we could change them. And I was like, oh, no wonder why I struggled so much at the beginning. Because I only had 2. So like whoever set up my profile and created me, like in the system, only put 2. And so all these years until they created that tag part, I had no idea. I never sent a ticket for tags because eventually I got my students and then I was fine. But my start was really slow. Like my first month, I taught like 15 classes. Like my next month, I taught 30 classes. Like it took a long time for me to get any classes. I started during Thanksgiving week, luckily. So I opened classes on Thanksgiving Day and I picked up a few kids who booked classes with me. But other than that, I had this many. So I know how people feel when you first start. I have a master's degree in teaching. Like I have 15 years of classroom experience. Like I have great pictures. I got a good bio, like the whole shebang. And it took a long time for me to get started. And so again, it's all about that patience, about making sure your profile's perfected. Everything's all set up and ready so that parents, when they find you, find the right teacher that they're looking for. It's all about just everything in a line. So
yeah.
I don't think
and make sure you're willing to teach those level 2s and even level 1s, because that's when they're entering the system. And most kids will eventually find that regular teacher that they stick with, and so they'll be with that. It's hard as if you go in with level 4 or 5 certification, it's possible for sure, but it's harder. It's more difficult.
We need to ask Melissa. Melissa, if you're in the chat, wait, what was the last thing you just said?
I said, make sure that you're certified in level 2 and even level 1 if you're willing to do those preschool age little ones.
Isn't it only 2 or 3 now that you have to do?
Right now, yes, it is.
Okay.
Only 2, 3 is available. But and then when you can certify for level 1, because that's where the babies come in. Like when I started, I was 2 through 5, but my huge majority of bookings were level 2. And now they've grown up with me. So now after 4 years, I'm getting a lot of level 5s and 6s and only a spatterings of 2 coming in, but they're going to all the new teachers. So you want to start out with the young ones and then they can grow up with you.
Exactly. And even in the system, I mean, they used to tell us how many.
It was a steep curve. Like 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. I mean, it was a big.
It definitely, just the amount of kids goes down, but then most of those kids are with their regular teachers.
All right. Well, I think we mentioned all that I have. What do you guys think? Are we forgetting anything? Anything you want to say before we go?
I was going to say one of the pitfalls maybe for a new teacher would be, I did mention I wanted to get a new MacBook Pro, but I've been with the company for over 2 years, and you don't have to feel like you have to get the top of the line equipment. You can get by with, hey, there are people who teach exclusively from an iPad, which I had an iPad at the beginning, and the computer I had, I realized was too old and it wasn't going to work. So I did 1,000 classes with just the iPad and lamps. I didn't spend a lot of money on extra things. And I looked through the house, got props. So, as you go along, you might want to improve on your technology, but it's really not necessary. And it's not something you have to. I would recommend, if you're going to stay with the company, to try to have 2 devices to get online with. But, you know, and be strategic, like kind of, you know, work your way if that's what your full-time job is. But you don't have to feel obligated to get all the, you know, some people are just like that. They're going to do something, they're going to get everything that, you know.
Along with that, I used to have an i3 processor, and it did take a lot, it took longer for the classes to load. And then once I upgraded to an i7 processor, it's much faster. So there's less risk if you do upgrade your computer. Definitely look at the minimum specs that
and I would say
company you're working for, because it makes a difference. Like there's a noticeable difference in your processing speed.
And if you look at the minimum, try to go up one step.
Yeah.
Because if you want it to last a couple of years, I know it's more expensive, but if the minimum is i5, splurge, get the i7, and it'll last 2 or 3 years. Otherwise, i5 will become the minimum. Oh, now i7 is the minimum, and now you have an i5. I mean, I bought my computer 2 years ago. i3 was the minimum. So I have an i3. I have an i3. Well, now i5 is the minimum. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You have to buy like every year or 2. So I'd say buy a step up. That way it can last a little bit longer.
True. Yeah.
There are people who still teach exclusively with an iPad, but like the older ones are no good.
Yeah.
But you know, I think it's Air and Up are good. And, you know, you can find out from the groups what would work.
Yeah.
But you don't have to feel obligated to get the top of the line computer, but you know.
I feel like I need to tell people I do have a lot of stuff, but it was all in my kindergarten boxes except for you know, Dino Dogs, but
it's true.
Pretty much everything else except for my map was in my kindergarten stuff. So all my books, my drawers, I have, you know, those drawers down here. Those were all from my classroom. So I didn't have to buy anything at the beginning.
And when you do go Dollar Tree, Target, Dollar Spot, you know, think cheap. You don't have to go expensive, but also don't spend all your money every month. Have a budget. Have a budget.
I did. And going along with that, I saw a really good video by Sincerely Serena about putting money aside for taxes. So don't wait. That would be a pitfall, is waiting until tax day to realize I owe thousands of dollars, because just keep that in mind, that this is, you know, maybe we'll get a, what do you call it? Incentive check or whatever from the government. Who knows? Right. But don't count on it.
You know, to go along with that, if you're doing this for fun and to keep busy, you can put, I think it's $18,000 into a 401k, and that would be way lower taxes, maybe even tax-free. I don't remember, but there's a certain amount that you can put into like a retirement, like a 401k type.
But then you can't use it, right? Until
you can't use it till you're older, but you have all that money saved when you do need it. You know,
that's cool. Yeah.
In your retirement age and stuff. So it is, you can put a portion of that in there too if you want to.
But definitely tuck them away. You know, here's your paycheck. Okay, great. Now take this much out and save it somewhere, either file quarterly or stick in a savings account. Don't touch it. And then when tax times comes, then you can give yourself a refund, or, you know, you have it all figured out. Don't go, I owe this much. No, go, hey, I owe less than I had budgeted. So yay, I give myself a refund. You know, always kind of overestimate. Some people say 20 to 30% per month. It just depends on, you know, your other household income, where you live, etc. But I'd say like put in.
I didn't know you were supposed to put away or send it in quarterly. You can actually get.
You don't have to send it in.
I don't.
Quarterly.
You can't.
You don't have to.
From what I researched, it said you're supposed to, or they can fine you.
I've never been fined. I've done this for 4 years.
Well, Serena said that she said that you can do either one, as long as you can pay it on tax day.
Yes, we pay in full.
Yeah,
we pay in full on tax day.
I wonder if it depends on what bracket you're into.
It does.
Yeah, it might.
It does.
Because
it might depend on your other assets as well. As, you know, if you have other businesses, or, you know, if you're Kasie, you're probably supposed to pay quarterly.
From what? Think again.
For me, I had money saved up, but we have kids and we have a low income, so it kind of, we broke even this year. So it was, you know,
Good.
so I had a little money saved up, but I didn't really have to put it in. So.
We owed less this year because I had a kid. Yay!
Nice.
I added another kid. Woo! Owed less. That was good. But it won't happen every year.
We've got
Right.
refunds. We've gotten refunds the last 2 years. I only owe
But I
my
don't know.
state. I don't owe federal. Federal
Nice.
gave me money.
Wow.
So
I think they're going to restructure the income taxes, so we'll see what happens with that. I hope so.
oh,
Is it
Kasie, I
Joanne
did have one more
Foster?
pitfall.
I missed you both. Sorry. What's
Go ahead,
that?
Tamara.
I said, is that why Joanne Foster has 11 kids?
Oh. Okay, Kim, what were you saying?
I have 13, Tamara.
13.
But they're growing up. I only have
Okay.
4 at home.
Oh, wow.
Casey, I did have one more pitfall.
Okay.
Short notice. Short notice can be very dangerous when you're a new teacher or when you're a seasoned teacher if you're not careful. So if you do open short notice, remember to be awake when it's time to teach it because you could get booked, or close the slot before you go to bed so you don't get booked. So that's
I
a
always
danger
do
for
that.
you.
Or
And
my trick is I always pre-open my first slot of the day,
yes.
and I can short notice the rest. That way I know I'm up, I'm at my computer, and then I can be surprised the rest of the day. But if you short notice that first slot, there's a chance that you might not realize it, or might set your alarm wrong or whatever.
I
Or
closed
if
it
you set
before
your
then.
alarm and you're not booked and you can't fall back asleep.
Yeah. You check your clock every time. Like, I want a booking. You know, you do have to say enough, close it down, go back to bed.
Yeah.
Related to that, I was going to say about cancellations and your participation rate. So a lot of people don't understand, like, when you accept a class and you're going to agree to teach it, if you cancel that, your participation rate is affected for 30 days. So if you're a new teacher and you've got all those blocks of classes open, or you miss a class and teacher no-show, that not only affects financially, but it also will affect your booking. So if you're beginning and trying to build your business, you've got to show up for every class that you accept. You cannot teacher no-show. Like, you really have to be there for everything and not screw up, because one screw up and you go and you got to wait 30 days till you get back up. Same thing with bad reviews. So 5 Apple reviews, you get one apple. It will take you 100, and it's hard to get them now. 100 to get your 5 Apple rating
Really
back up.
hard.
So again, the way the parents search for classes in the algorithm of the computer is they put in qualifiers. They look for energetic. They check that little box. They look for a 5 Apple teacher. They check that box. They look for participation. They check that box. And then the computer goes boop, 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 boop. And it finds a teacher that has an open slot that meets all those qualifiers. Every time you miss and cancel a class, or you teacher no-show, you're bumping yourself off the qualifiers and not giving yourself an opportunity to be booked. So a lot of people don't understand that from the start, and that really can affect how long it takes you to build your business.
Yeah.
So
To go along with that, you need to do your feedback as well within the 12 hours.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's also a qualifier that shows.
Really? I mean, I've never missed it, knock on wood, because that's like a rule. I got to do it. But I didn't know they showed all
If
that.
your percent goes down, it shows.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And thanks for hanging out in the chat with us. If you're still in the chat, if you don't mind giving us a thumbs up before you go. And thank you. Oh, the only one that didn't get to shout out, I think Tamara. Do you want to tell people where they can find you? And Rebecca, maybe you want to mention your YouTube.
Yeah.
Or something. Go ahead, Tamara. Where can we find you?
You can find me eteachertamara@gmail.com is probably the best way. I have one video on YouTube, but that's it. But I'm working on getting more. And then my website's
Well, you do another company too, right? You do VIP Kid and what?
I'm with 4 companies, but actually I'm recruiting mostly for a math tutoring company called Splash Learn. So that's my big company I'm trying to push, both for students and teachers. So it's great. If you want any math tutoring, or if you want to be a math tutor, definitely reach out.
Oh, I do math. How much do they pay?
They pay 20 to 21 an hour.
It's about the same.
Well, it's an hour, but you're only teaching 45 minutes. So.
Is it Chinese?
No,
Or
it's
is it English
US kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
It's all
Okay.
US. It's during the day.
So it's during day. Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
I'll have
Yeah.
to contact you then.
It's Common Core math. I remember that's one of the
Okay.
things. So
Yeah. Common
Common
Core
All
Core.
math.
right.
It's great. I love it.
Okay.
It's fun. And
And
it's so
Rebecca,
different from VIP Kid that you don't get total online teacher burnout because
Now,
it's
do
really,
they give you the curriculum, or do you have to have
they
a
give us
working
curriculum.
knowledge of
All the
stuff?
curriculum's provided. The students are provided. They book you based on your availability. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, sounds good.
Yay.
Thank you. Wow, I'm glad I asked. So there's 4 companies. So VIP Kid, math tutoring, and what else?
Math tutoring is called Splash Learn. And then OutSchool, I'm another OutSchool teacher. And
Okay.
then Zebra English is my fourth.
Okay. Are you getting booked at OutSchool?
Not so much, no, unfortunately.
I'm not either.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I've
All
sort
right.
of put that on the back burner, but yes.
And you can find me on YouTube under Rebecca F. That's just what it is. And I'm teaching for 4 or 5 companies. I've got VIP Gate mostly, OutSchool mostly. I do iTutor group now a couple days a week, and then I'm still in GoGo Kid a little bit. And then I've opened up Bling ABC, but no bookings yet, so I don't know what's gonna go with that one. But I just try to keep my feet dabbled a little everywhere because I would hate to lose out on my whole income if one company just went.
Yep,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, that's one pitfall is that people put all their eggs in one basket. Kasie.
It
Yeah.
scares me. Yeah.
Yeah. But because you feel like you want to be loyal. So just
Yes,
recently I went to
yes.
OutSchool
Yeah.
too.
Don't be loyal. Go branch out. Better
I'm
for-
loyal to pay.
Right. Yes. I'm
Yeah,
always looking
yeah.
for places that will pay more.
Well, I just applied for the adult teaching one.
Oh, cool. You did.
Oh,
For a
wow.
minute. What is it called? Your teaching moment, something like
yeah,
that.
your learnable
So I'm
moment.
still
teachable
waiting.
moment, yeah.
Yeah. Your learning moment, whatever it
There
is.
you go.
Your moment. It's your moment.
Money. I love it.
Show me the money, Kim.
All right.
That's my loyalty. I'm
Nice.
going where the money is because I need the money.
Yes.
I like to look on people's faces when they tell. I work online. I teach in China. I'm doing another company. They think I'm crazy. So
It's just safe, I mean, they won't be as loyal to you, unfortunately. So you need to
Yeah.
find your.
that's true.
A lot of these companies, you're just a number, and so
Exactly.
you care about them more than they care about you. So you have to,
100%.
but
It's
make
the
sure you know
new
your schedule.
working environment.
And if you're working at 2
Yeah.
companies, don't double book yourself. Okay, have different days. Know how each company works and structures.
Yeah.
You don't get that
definitely.
double booked. I did that once and go, okay, which company can I cancel with the least amount of negativity? And
Or have your family on WeChat and say, I made a mistake.
yeah, so be careful, to not double book if you can. Yeah.
Right. Oh, hey, Jason.
All right,
thanks
thank
for
you.
listening. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Next week is Labor Day, so
It's
we
a
will have a
video,
pre-recorded
right?
for all of you. I don't know who's going to be on there yet, but it's about classroom setup. We went over it last week, but there was so much more we wanted to add.
I'll be there. Yeah.
So we'll have that one for you. And then the following week, we've got veteran teachers going to let us know about all the different changes that have come up in VIP Kids. So looking forward to that one too. All right.
All right. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, now I can't find my mouse.